So recently I watched LEGO DC Comics Superheroes The Flash and it was fairly enjoyable. You know, as someone who's a massive fan of both the LEGO Movie and LEGO Batman, and considers the LEGO Movie to be my all-time favorite animated film, I'm surprised at how I never got the chance to watch these alternative LEGO movies. Then again, I'm aware that they don't share the same universe and writing style, and these alternative LEGO movies are meant to be straight to DVD, so I knew the production value would not be the same, and after watching the movie, I did notice the difference. The lighting effects look significantly cheaper, the background imagery is less enriched with even a few instances of bland designs, and I also doubt that Firestorm's firing hair would remain still if you were watching the LEGO movie. Nevertheless, I did expect all of this to happen, which is why I'm never really interested in watching these LEGO movies, but I was curious, especially because I had watched the trailer for this a few months ago, so I decided to just cave and watch the damn thing, and it was a fun time. The movie managed to hold my attention by adapting the reliving the same day concept, which is an interesting one for me. My expectations were successfully subverted multiple times in the movie, to the point where in spite the fact that I wouldn't consider the story's structure to be unique, I would still not consider the movie to be predictable. Then again, it does help that I didn't really know what this movie was about until I actually watched it. There were a few elements that are referential to other DC incarnations that I actually liked. This version of the Joker present in the movie shared resemblance to the 1989 Joker based on how he looks and his evil scheme, which was kinda nice. I liked the blurry vibrating effect from the Reverse Flash that reminded me of CW's The Flash. Not to mention, I noticed that they slightly altered Reverse Flash's motivation, which I was fine with it mainly because his updated motive fits the story and themes better, which were about the Flash having phenomenal powers that allow him to achieve control and recognition, which was what the Reverse Flash was craving. Additionally, having the Flash losing those things and realizing that he can rely on his superhero friends was a nice direction that the movie took. Getting back on the Reverse Flash, his current motives still felt similar enough to his original one that I don't find him to be unfamiliar. Not to mention, the Reverse Flash is still faster than the Flash, which is the most important thing for me. Even though I didn't find the overall visual aesthetic to be that impressive, at least by LEGO movie standards, there were a few sequences that I enjoyed looking at. Like the Speed Force Nexus, which while very simplistic, it looked really nice, especially with the lighted LEGO bricks. I also like how every time the Reverse Flash statues were destroyed, they would blow up like fireworks right before they would vanish in an upward direction. Also, for the first time, I saw a LEGO character having his clothes shredded, which is surprisingly rare. Now, as usual, I have my fair share of gripes. I wasn't a fan of the overall humor. The joke about Lois Lane and the air conditioner button managed to make me chuckle, but every other joke just felt kinda lame and unclever. There were certain intense scenes where it felt like the background music didn't accurately reflect that. I understand that those scenes were also trying to add a layer of silliness and comedy, but as long as the main objective of a scene is to inflict tension in terms of emotion, I feel like you need to add an intense musical score. Just look at the first few moments of the LEGO Batman movie right before the title, and there's a lot of humor implemented. But because in the main plot Joker is bringing chaos to Gotham, you'll hear a more intense background music. There were some main members of the Justice League that didn't stand out for me. Batman, Flash, and Atom succeeded at leaving an impression on me, but Superman, Wonder Woman, and Plastic Man, also Firestorm, were not as impactful in terms of their contribution to the story and how their personalities shine, which is kind of sad because there were a few cool voice actors involved. I mean, I like listening to Grey Delia playing Wonder Woman, and Cyborg is played by the same voice actors in the Teen Titans cartoons, which is either a good thing if you're a fan of the original Teen Titans, or it's a bad thing if you're sick of Teen Titans Go because it airs too much even though you have the option to just switch the channel. I thought there were a few scenes that dragged on for a little too long. There are scenes that initially feel like they're time wasting only to be proven later that they have a point, which I wouldn't consider it the best way to hold the audience attention, but I full-heartedly forgive them and I ended up valuing those moments. But then there are scenes that you just kinda wish they were either shorter or just didn't exist. Like the musical number, which felt a lot like my patience was being tested. Another issue I have, and in all honesty, it isn't really the movie's fault, and it's more of an issue with the Flash franchise in general. I don't like the implementation of magical elements in a series that's meant to be driven by science fiction. Like, I already have mixed opinions on the idea of a Speed Force, but adding stuff like Barry was given his powers and not as a result of an accidental chemical reaction leaves me with some saucy feelings. But getting down to the more nitpicky territory, there's a scene where Flash pulls off the Quicksilver during a battle with Captain Cold, and you know, I can kinda get behind the idea of Flash being faster than the time it takes for the ray of the Cold gun to reach him, but when the ray is right close to you, I think the freezing temperature should have already slowed down his movements. I mean, this is kind of the purpose of the weapon, it's to counteract his speed. Anyway, overall, good movie, kind of. It's not a must-see movie, but if someone asks me if it's worth watching the movie, I would say yes, so do what you want to do. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye for now.